transformation. And what is supply chain transformation? It's the evolution of supply chain from more hands-on to more digitalized, and especially in a global economy. Supply chain and customers. Supply chain managers try to adjust to customer complaints. They adjust to executive goals, and supply chains are reactive. What does that mean? So if you have a new executive or you have a new manager, and they want things done a certain way, the supply chain will react to this leadership style. Or if you have customers and they are in need of things at certain speeds, the supply chain will react to the needs of these customers. So that's what supply chains are reactive means. The sequence of supply chain management for this project, we have to ensure the company strategy and customer value propositions. Make sure they're all working together. So for example, the company has a strategy to expand in certain areas and with certain qualities. They have to match what are the needs of the customers and where are the needs of the customers. So they have to work together. This also goes with topic 2, which is aligned operating strategy. We have to have a common vision or common goal so the company can push the supply chain in that direction. Now, to optimize the portfolio means where can we lose? Is it okay to lose something so we can maximize in another field? This goes with the theory of opportunity cost, which means if we are going to focus in a certain area of the market, for example, China, or for example, shipping, where are we not going to focus on? So we have to optimize this profile and meet the best case scenario, which is optimization. Segmentation, we find the market, we find our customers, and we focus on them. Mapping the current supply chain, we have to know where our products are coming from. We also have to know any alternatives, especially as we learned before, that it's not good to just rely on one supply chain line, because if something disrupts it, then our business can be ruined. And to optimize the inventory is to find alternatives to the inventory as well. In this situation, we can focus on not just where we're getting inventories from, but where we're not getting inventories from, and can we get something else from what we're not getting in order to, again, maximize our supply chain lines. This is just some examples of supply chain project. I'm going to focus on the big data analytics factor for my project and the forecasting of my project. My project is about a famous shipping company. So this is the transformation sequence from our class. So I'm not going to read it since we know this. So the customer value proposition, we have to find the customer needs. We have to make sure that the company has a long-term strategy that can fit this customer's proposition. We have to have the right things, or our portfolio has to have what is capable of doing for these customers. Then we have to find our actual customers, or to find our actual locations where we can work at. Once we find our locations, then we can start designing supply chain line for these locations to these customers. And once we make our supply chain line, then we optimize our inventory. We make sure what is best in this line. What can we lose in this line? Is it okay to lose certain supplies? Is it better to gain other supplies from this specific supply chain line? By doing this, we have to analyze our risk. Once we have analyzed our risk, then we can start pricing. And then we see if it works or not, which is the auto order management. Okay, so for mine, I want to focus on Ocean Network Express. And this is a little bit close to my heart because, as you guys know, I was working in the military. And when I was working in the military, I used to work in out of Yokosuka Naval Base in Japan. And when I used to go to an area called Sagami 1, which is the bay to the west of Tokyo Bay, I often used to see this NYK, K-Line, MOL ships. And I was wondering, where are the ships going? How big are these companies? It was just my thoughts, right? Because I used to be an ordinary seaman at first. As the time progressed, one time I had a trip to not trip, deployment to Australia, to Sydney. And I realized that this ship, it was white and blue. It's called NYK. And I thought it was maybe New York City or New York Knicks, but nothing related to New York. And it was coming. It was kind of like following us all the way from Tokyo, all the way to Sydney. And I was starting to, by then I was a little bit higher rank, so I had access to more information. And I realized that we were following a shipping lane, and that Japanese ships will follow this route to Philippines, to Singapore, and down to Sydney. So our ship also, our military, our destroyer, our ship also used to follow this. So it's kind of like we're protecting the ship, but without actually telling them we're protecting them. The name Nippon means Japan in Japanese, so I realized, okay, Japanese Jusen Kaisha, I guess. But for me, I just wonder why the ships are everywhere where I used to work, why they're all over Japan. Are they important? I had no idea about the trading field. I had no idea the maritime field, logistics, zero knowledge back then. I was just 18 years old. Now that I had this project, I want to get more in depth with it. And then I found that there's been big competitions in how we call it, the container ship market. Different companies from Denmark, Britain, Greece, China, and Korea, they've been growing, and the Japanese companies, they've been losing their share of the market, especially since Japan has multiple shipping companies, and they're all competing with each other as well. So in 2016, they decided to have a dialogue and maybe see if they can work together, have a joint venture. So this joint venture became what we call Ocean Network Express. And if you see on the right side, you see this chart, the top 10 largest shipping companies in the world. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is one, or Ocean Network Express. But imagine if they did not join, if these three companies did not join, they would not be competitive. They will be somewhere below Yangming, which is a Taiwanese company. And it means that either Taiwan or China will overtake even more of the shares that these Japanese companies had. Japan is a maritime nation, and it's an island nation. So they have to, by birth, they have to have a strong competitive marine time field. And they try to change their marketing, they try to change their approaches. So the first reason to merge is competitive advantage. They have to have a reason why they have to merge, right? So we have to be more competitive. We have to work together. So this company started to work together. They started to use each other's facilities. They started to see maybe they can share roads, they can share cargo to make it more efficient. And also they have to become digitalized. Japanese are known for being bureaucratic and not digitalized, even though it's supposed to be an advanced country. They have to change the marketing strategy. And one of the coolest things about one is the color of the containers, Magneto or fuchsia pink. And at first I didn't know why they chose this color. From this picture, you can see it stands out for sure. But why they chose pink? And one reason is this is a Japanese company, and what famous plant is from Japan or flower? The sakura. The sakura changes in spring and shows the beautiful harmony of Japan. So one wanted to show the customers that they are Japanese, that they are in harmony, and that it's a beautiful joint venture what they have here. On the bottom right, you can see the blue, white NYK ship that I used to see when I was working in Japan. They're still there near Tokyo. I often see them when I go back. One of the focus for one was its transformation into digitalization. And one of the reasons they want to make everything as easy as possible for the customers, and they want to reach more customers. So they make sure everything was in English. They had Chinese, multiple languages, Korean, and they started to have QR codes. They started. You can do everything on the phone now, so everything became super easy. Prior to this, it was not like this. It was less competitive to the European companies. What else? So they have joined together, and they're starting to buy ships together as well. They're starting to buy new routes, new containers. Recently, they bought, I think, 14,000 refrigerated containers, which means for storing maybe supplies, for storing food, also hazmat or dangerous chemicals. And they by merging, they also became a public trading company. So now you can invest in it if you want. So for me, it was really interesting to learn about them because it's a field that when I think of supply and logistics, I think of the shipping field, and I think of Japan because Japan was one of the big nations in the 1980s economically, and they've been on a long decline since. But they still have a significance in the world economy and still popular in soft power, soft culture, still an American ally. And they have to innovate in order to stay relevant. So I'm interested to see what else they're going to do to stay relevant in the world economy. And I think this was one of the first steps. One, to be more competitive, to digitalize, to make everything easier for customers, to meet customers' needs by sharing routes. They can speed up the receiving cargoes. Also, they can come back to Japan quicker. They can change routes. They can save fuel. They're investing in green energy. So I think they're going the right way. So this is why I chose one, Ocean Network Express. So the competitors are MSC, which is pretty famous in the ocean, in the maritime field. Also Maersk, which is the really big one. I always see Maersk. COSCO, which is not American, big company. Hopes not the American company. It's a Chinese shipping company. Sorry, but these are huge companies. One will get there eventually, as you see. One is only in sixth place, but their MSC is almost 4 times bigger than one. So they have to catch up a lot. So this is not who they're competing with. They're competing with the chart. You can see competing with Hapag-Lloyd, with Evergreen. Maybe they can eventually compete with COSCO, but not yet. COSCO is also growing. But their competitor is Hapag-Lloyd from Germany. And why that's important is because Hapag-Lloyd, from my understanding, is one company, Hapag, and Lloyd, another company, and they merge together. So the 3 Japanese companies seeing the Germans doing this, they realize they have to be competitive and do the same. The first statement here is from one of the websites. It's not my own words. It says, the move will allow Ocean Network Express to be better customer needs by providing high quality, competitive services to the consolidation, enhancement of 3 companies' global network and service structures. I took this because it's a perfect summarize of what I've been saying for this whole presentation. These 3 companies are working together. They're meeting the customers' needs on time. They make everything easier for customers. They are global. They have headquarters in Tokyo, in Singapore, in Sao Paulo, in Virginia. They have a not headquarters, but like a regional management facility in San Francisco, in Argentina. So it's worldwide. So it's easier for them to communicate around to see what they need. and it influences the competitive overall. So that's the end. I hope I did okay.